Breaking news tonight from the Family Stories Revenge investigative desk as we uncover a chilling tale of domestic deception and a cold-blooded plot that nearly ended in a quiet, calculated tragedy. What began as a routine commute for a man named Ryan Calloway quickly spiraled into a high-stakes game of survival when a forgotten wallet led him back to a home that had become a house of mirrors. In an exclusive report, we examine how a simple act of forgetfulness shattered years of marital trust and exposed a sinister conspiracy hidden behind soft whispers and morning coffee. Imagine walking into your own sanctuary only to hear the person you love most discussing your impending demise with a stranger. This was the harrowing reality for Calloway, who stood frozen in his hallway as his wife Emily plotted to increase a lethal dosage of medication. The investigation reveals that the betrayal was not merely emotional, but clinical, as Emily was recorded stating that her husband had noticed nothing, further emphasizing that the transition of their lives was reaching its final, dark phase. As you watch this report on YouTube, it is impossible not to wonder about the hidden lives behind closed doors, and we invite you to join the conversation by sharing your thoughts and letting us know which city or country you are watching from in the comments below. The evidence suggests that Emily Calloway was operating under the assumption of absolute control, using her husband's trust as a weapon against him. Our sources indicate that the conspirators were focused on a total transfer of assets, moving from a shared life to an individual takeover. The chilling precision of her words, describing her husband as disposable, serves as a stark reminder of how quickly a domestic partnership can turn into a predatory hunting ground. Ryan Calloway's decision to remain silent in that moment was the first step in a brilliant counter-strategy. Rather than reacting with the expected panic, he chose to observe, realizing that in a world of lies, the one who knows the truth but remains silent holds the ultimate power. The Family Stories Revenge team has obtained details regarding the psychological warfare that ensued within the Calloway residence. When Ryan re-entered the home, he encountered a version of his wife that was perfectly curated, warm, loyal, and seemingly concerned. However, the investigation shows that every gesture, from a soft laugh to a kiss on the cheek, was a practiced maneuver designed to mask the ongoing administration of sedatives. The narrative shifted from one of love to one of data collection, as Emily began asking pointed questions about his physical well-being, not out of care, but to measure the efficacy of the toxins she was introducing into his system. This level of premeditation is what defines this case as a landmark example of domestic subversion. Ryan's survival depended on his ability to mirror her performance, mimicking the symptoms of a dying man while secretly plotting his escape. In this video, we see the terrifying reality of a victim who has to pretend to be a victim to stay alive. The nighttime surveillance conducted by Ryan himself revealed even more damning evidence. While he feigned sleep, Emily was documented communicating with her accomplice, confirming that the dosage had been increased as instructed. The motive was clear and singular: ownership. The investigation highlights that the transition of assets was the primary driver, with Emily expressing a cold certainty that once the process was complete, everything would belong to her. The horror of the situation reached its peak when Ryan realized his wife was no longer a partner, but a monitor of his heartbeat, waiting for the rhythm to finally stop. This report on this channel continues to follow the digital trail left by the perpetrators, showing that even the most careful criminals leave shadows behind. The morning routine became a battlefield of wits, as detailed in our ongoing coverage here on Family Stories Revenge. The daily cup of coffee, once a symbol of comfort, was transformed into a delivery system for benzodiazepines. Ryan's tactical decision to avoid consuming any liquid provided by his wife, while still appearing to comply, was the pivot point that allowed him to gather the physical evidence needed for a legal takedown. By strategically disposing of the tainted beverages in household plants and sinks, he maintained the illusion of his own decline. The psychological pressure of watching his wife watch him die is a testament to his resilience. As we delve deeper into this investigation, we ask our viewers to stay engaged and remember to post your location in the comments to help our community grow. The first half of this report concludes with the realization that the predator had become the prey, unaware that the man she thought she was killing was actually the one documenting her every move. The investigation by Family Stories Revenge continues as the focus shifts from the domestic trap to the clinical proof that secured Ryan Calloway's safety. After days of living in a state of constant vigilance, Calloway sought professional medical intervention at a private clinic. The results were undeniable. The toxicology report confirmed elevated benzodiazepine levels, consistent with repeated, long-term exposure. This was the smoking gun that transformed a husband's suspicion into a legal certainty. Armed with this evidence, Calloway did not flee. Instead, he initiated a sophisticated legal maneuver to dismantle his wife's plan from the inside out. By engaging a trusted attorney who was also a friend of the family, he ensured that the counterattack would remain invisible until it was too late for Emily to react. This exclusive report on YouTube highlights the importance of documentation and the strategic use of silence in the face of extreme danger. As we analyze the final stages of this case on this channel, the shift in power becomes palpable. While Emily Calloway was busy monitoring what she believed was her husband's failing health, the legal infrastructure of her life was being systematically dismantled. Every bank account, every insurance policy, and the very will she expected to inherit from were rewritten to exclude her entirely. The Family Stories Revenge investigative team found that these changes were executed with such precision that Emily remained entirely unaware that her financial future had evaporated. The irony of the situation is profound. She was waiting for a death that would bring her wealth, while in reality, her husband's continued life was the only thing keeping her from total ruin. We encourage all our viewers to share their thoughts on this incredible turnaround, and don't forget to mention your city or country in the comments section below. The tension within the household reached a breaking point as Ryan began to play the role of the terminal patient with chilling accuracy. He intentionally slowed his movements and mimicked the cognitive fog associated with the drugs he was supposed to be taking. The report shows that Emily's reaction to his apparent decline was not one of remorse, but of profound relief. She was so blinded by her own greed that she failed to see the trap being set around her. The digital evidence recovered from her phone further solidified the case, with messages explicitly stating that her husband was getting worse and that everything would soon be hers. This level of arrogance is often the downfall of such conspirators, as they underestimate the intelligence and the will to live of those they seek to destroy. In this video, we witness the final confrontation, a moment of absolute clarity that serves as a warning to those who seek to profit from the harm of others. On a morning that seemed like any other, the roles were finally reversed. When Emily handed her husband the tainted coffee, she was met not with a sip, but with a document. The toxicology report placed on the kitchen counter was the physical manifestation of her failure. The investigative team at Family Stories Revenge notes that the silence in the room at that moment spoke louder than any confession. Emily was forced to confront the fact that she had not been the one in control. She had been a character in a story written by the man she tried to kill. The realization that her plan had been documented, her motives exposed, and her future erased left her paralyzed. The aftermath of this domestic thriller remains a subject of intense scrutiny. Ryan Calloway walked out of that house not as a victim, but as a survivor who had successfully navigated a lethal conspiracy. The legal ramifications for Emily and her unnamed accomplice are ongoing, but the victory for Calloway is already complete. He managed to protect his life, his assets, and his dignity by refusing to play the part of the casualty. This report on this channel serves as a powerful reminder that justice is often a dish best served with evidence and extreme patience. We thank you for following this investigation here on Family Stories Revenge and for being part of our global audience. Your engagement drives our ability to bring these high-stakes reports to light. As we conclude this exclusive investigative report, the lesson is clear. Those who plot in the shadows should remember that light eventually finds its way in. Ryan Calloway's story is one of incredible bravery and tactical genius in the face of the ultimate betrayal. For more in-depth reports and exclusive stories that challenge the status quo, make sure to stay connected with our team. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking update. We are committed to bringing you the truth behind the most complex family dynamics and stories of retribution. Stay tuned for our upcoming reports as we continue to dive deep into the narratives that matter most. Thank you for watching Family Stories Revenge.